Welcome back to another interesting tutorial. My name is OJ and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I recreate this beautiful off-shoulder dress with ruffle. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do where to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Enjoy! So guys, I'm going to be starting with the upper part, and here is my brown paper, and this is for the front. We'll start for the front, right? First thing I'm going to do, I'll be coming down for my guideline, and this will serve as our shoulder line. So this is the shoulder line. Then on this shoulder line, I'm going to be marking the neck width, right? So this is off shoulder, but I'm going to be drafting a normal basic pattern, right? Then from there, I'm going to alter the off shoulder from it. So I'm going to be making the neck width, the standard neck width of 3 inches. Then I will mark the shoulder divided by 2, which is 7.5 inches. Then from there, I'm going to be coming down 1 inch for the slope, go up ½ inch. So this is not really necessary, but I'm just doing it as I've mentioned. I'm going to just do my normal basic pattern. So I will connect this to the neck width, and I also connect this as our shoulder seam allowance. Do from the shoulder, I'm going to measure down the chest, right? So we'll mark the chest. The chest is 8. Then shoulder to bust is 9. That's to nipple is 9. Then shoulder to under bust is 12.5. Then the half length is 16 inches. So for the front, we're going to make use of 16 inches. But when I want to draft for the back, I'm going to make use of half length of 15 inches. So the difference is going to be 1 inch, and that 1 inch is what we are going to use for our side dart. Hope that is clear. So now I'm going to make this to a straight line. So this will serve as our chest line, 8 inches. That's the midpoint from the slope to my chest, and the midpoint is 3.5. From there, I'm going to be coming in ½ inch. Then we'll connect our armhole. I'm going to be marking my dart. So I'll first mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is 3.5. I'll mark it here. I'll also do the same thing on the chest, on the waist. So I'll be connecting it straight to my bust this way. So this is it. Now on my waist here, I'm going to be marking the dart intake. So I'm going to make use of 1.5. So I'll divide that into 2. So I'll be having 0.75 on both sides. So the total dart intake is 1.5. I'll do the same thing to the under bust as well. Then I'll be connecting it straight down. Hope that is clear. Then on my waist, on my bust here, I'm going to be coming down for my bust ½ inch. Then I'll be using my curve ruler to connect it to the under bust this way. I'll do the same thing to this other side too. So the dart intake that I used here, it depends. Sometimes the person you are sewing for, the bust might be big or small. So this person is on a small size, and that's why I'm using this dart intake. If you have been watching on my other of my videos, you see that I use different dart intake here. So this depends on the bust size. Hope that is clear. I will mark the midpoint of my slope here, 2.5 inches here, and I'll be connecting it this way to the that apex. Hope that is clear. Then for the off shoulder, you determine how low you want the off shoulder to be. So for me, I'm going to make use of 5 inches. So this is the 5 inches. Then I'm going to be marking my dart here. I'll make use of ½ inch on both sides, which is here. Then I'll be connecting it this way. So this is very two. Sometimes I can make use of 0.75 or 1 inch on both sides, depend on the bust, right? So you make sure that this place is not sharp, so you can smooth it up. Hope that is clear. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to input my horizontal measurement. So I'll be marking my waist circumference, my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 8.25. I'll mark it here. Then I'll be adding my side seam allowance of 1.5 inches. Then I'll be adding 1 inch for to sew these two panels together. I'll also add it here this way. Then I'll come to my waist. My waist circumference divided by 4 is 6 inches. I'll mark it here. The dart intake here is 1.5. We'll replace it here. Then we'll be adding side seam allowance of 1.5. We'll also add it here. Then plus 1 inch to join the two panels together. We'll mark it there. Then we'll block. So now I'll be marking the side dart. That's the difference between the front and the back length. What the difference is what we are taking away from here, so that the side can meet. Hope that is clear. So I'll make use of 1 inch. Then I'll connect it to my dart 1/2 inch before the dart. So the off shoulder here, I'm going to be adding my my seam allowance to join, to turn it, to turn the neck, right? So add your seam allowance here. So you add your 1/2 inch, right? So now remember, this is an off shoulder. So the shoulder, we are not going to make use of exact the shoulder. So our shoulder here is 7.5 inches. So I'm going to remove 1.5 away from that. That will give us 6 inches, right? So that will give us 6 inches. So this 6 inches, we'll mark it here this way. Then remember that we are going to remove 1 inch away from here, because by the time we sew this dart, we cut this dart out, so we'll be short with 1 inch. So 1 inch is going to go away from here. So we'll also replace this. So I'll replace this 1 inch, which is there. So now this is all we need. So I'll connect my new armhole. So this is it. So now we've already add all the necessary seam allowance to this. So we'll cut this pattern out. We're going to cut it exactly on our fabric. So I'll cut it out. So this is our panel. This is all we need for this panel now. So this is what we need, right? So I'm going to go back to my sewing. When I want to cut it on my fabric, I will cut this with my lining and north side. I will add 1/2 inch on this area here. I'll also add 1/2 inch on this area to join these two panels together. Hope that is clear. So I will do this to this now. So for the back, this is what I'm going to use to cut for the back. I'm going to also draft my normal basic pattern, and for that I'll be coming down for my guideline, which is the shoulder. I also mark for my zip 1.5 inches. Then I will also do the center back shaping. So the center back shaping, what I do is that this 1.5 inches, I'll mark the midpoint of it. Then I will be removing that. So if you're watching all my video before now, you understand what I'm doing here. So this is going off, right? Also the length of this, remember for the front we make use of 16 inches, but for this we have 15 inches. Hope that is clear. Then for the back, the same thing too. We come down 5 inches for the shoulder. So this is the how low is going to be, 5 inches from the shoulder. Remember that same thing we do for the front, right? Then I'm going to go up 1/2 inch. Remember how we added 1/2 inch to join, to turn it with our lining, right? Then the neck width, so I'll just skip this part here, but if you want, you can just go ahead to do that the same way we do for the front. You mark your neck width, mark your shoulder divided by 2, you mark it there, then you mark your slope, whichever way you want to do that. So now this is my shoulder divided by 2, so I'll rule it here this way, so it serves as a guide for us. Then this is our chest, that's 8 inches. Then the bust 9 inches, the half length is 15 inches for the back. The neck width, remember, we make use of 6 inches after subtracting 1.5 inches away from our shoulder, right? So we'll mark the 6 inches here. Hope that is clear. So now I'm going to, remember there is no dart here, so we are not adding 1 inch again. So I'm just going to connect my armhole here to the chest. So I connect it to the chest, then take it up to my seam allowance there. Hope that is clear. So this is all we need for this. Now I'll be marking the bust circumference divided by 4, starting from this line, which is 8.25. We'll mark it here. Then our side seam allowance of 1.5 inches, we'll also mark it here. I'll come to my waist. I'll mark the nipple to nipple divided by 2. I'll mark it here. Then I'll mark 1/2 inch on both sides. So now I'll be marking my waist circumference divided by 4. Remember, it's starting from this place here. So I'll mark it here 6 inches. The dart intake is 1 inch. Replace it. Then our side seam allowance of 1.5 inches. We'll also mark it here. Then I'll block. Hope that is clear. So now I'll be connecting this dart leg to my neck, right? So connect it this way. Then I'll be creating my dart leg. So this we are going to cut out. So this is all we need for this back. So we'll be cutting it out. So another thing again you can do, remember the center back shaping that I did, I remove 0.75 away. So that means when I want to sew my dart, I'm still going to make use of, when I want to sew my zip, I'm still going to make use of the 1.5, meaning we are going to short a little here. That's what gives the cloth more fitting, right? So this 0.75 I remove from me, I'm just going to replace with 1/4 inch. So that means what I remove is 1.5. That is 1/2 inch, right? So this is not really compulsory. You can just leave it. It will still rhyme, right? But I just replace with 0.25. So we'll cut out. So this is my panel for the back. You can see that everything rhymes. So this is what we have. So what I want to do, when I want to cut it on my fabric, I'll add 1/2 inch here, add 1/2 inch here, so join these two together. So I'm going to cut all this to my fabric, then I'll come back to show you. So I've gone ahead to cut my patterns on my fabric. This is what I have. In my next tutorial, guys, I'm going to be sharing with you how I'm going to join all these patterns together to come up with the beautiful style that I'm going to share with you at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have watched to this point, you have not subscribed, please do it to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Please like this video and let me also know your thoughts on the comment section. I love you. Remain blessed. I will see you in my next one. Bye.